Hello and welcome to Crawford Henderson Limited, here in sunny Scotland. We manufacture small leather gifts at our factory here in Maybole, which is a small town on the Ayrshire coast about 45 miles south of Glasgow. We are proud to supply the House of Commons shop with, amongst other things, these whisky tasting notes. And today I'm going to take you on a tour of our factory and show you how they're made. Okay, we're now in the lobby of the factory, which actually used to be an old cinema that my granddad bought way back in 1971. You can actually see some of the old panelling that remains. These are all the old original doors, and even on the floor you've got the old original terrazzo tiles, which are pretty cool. Okay, so the first stage of the process of manufacturing the whisky tasting notes is to print the covers green on our digital printer, which sits in the printing room just through that door. Okay, here we are in the printing room. This room has had many guises over the last 50 years, but for the last about 10 years it has served as a digital printing, or a room that houses our digital printer. Okay, so we're now at the printer controls here. This is the job here, and you can see on the right hand side we've got three green rectangles here, so that's I'm going to print out three of these just in case we need any extras. So all I do is just drag that up to the top into the job, and within a few seconds we should start printing.
Ian, I think you've left your camera here. Is this thing on?
Okay, so we can see the printer here just finishing up printing the nice green colour onto white recycled leather, which is the material of choice for this particular product. Okay, so we can now see here that the printer has finished printing, and the end result is this lovely rich green colour on the white recycled leather. So now that the printing is done, we take this sheet through to the cutting room to cut out the covers for the notebooks. Okay, so here we are in the cutting room, which is definitely the noisiest room in the factory. We've got the printed out sheet here, and I've got a cutting knife here, pre-made to the correct size, and now we're going to cut the notebook covers out using this hydraulic cutting press. There you go, there's one perfect notebook cover ready to go. Okay, so that's the digital printing and the cutting operations complete. The next part of the process is to take the cut pieces down to the foil printing area, where we're going to add the portcullis logo and the text in a nice gold metallic foil. Before we go down and do our foil printing, you're possibly wondering what this material is that I keep talking about in recycled leather. Recycled leather is a sustainable material that is made from scraps of leather that are taken from the likes of shoe manufacturers, handbag manufacturers, leather tanneries themselves. The scraps are taken and ground down into a grain, and the grain is then combined with latex and a few other components before being pulled through an extrusion machine and turned into big rolls. So we buy our rolls in 1.4 metre widths and kilometre lengths. The beauty of buying a material such as this is that its thickness is homogeneous across its width and across its length. So for digital printing you get a perfect print, and you also don't risk damaging your printer. Now we're on to the next part of the process, which is the foil printing. The foil printing area is down at the bottom of this ramp here, and this is a ramp because way back in the day this was where the seating would be in the old cinema. So this is the original wooden flooring for the old cinema, and as we walk down here where all this shelving is, and these racks are, you can just imagine that there's cinema seats here and everyone's sitting watching a nice film. We're now here in the foil printing area and we are graced with the presence of the main man himself, Mr. Crawford Henderson. He's had the business since 1986 and you can still find him on the factory floor. So he's now going to show us how we foil print.
Okay.
There we go, there's the lovely portcullis logo. So now that we've done the portcullis, it's now time to put the whiskey tasting notes text down the bottom. So take it away, old man. Oh, there we go, perfect first time, superb. So that's all the printing done and all the cutting done. 2 operations left to do. The final one is obviously to stick the cover to the notebook, but before we do that, because this is a notebook cover, to aid the opening and closing of the notebook, we like to take a little bit of the thickness out of the spine of the cover, and to do that we use what's called a splitting machine, which is this. So Dad, do you want to show us
Indeed.
how to do it? There you go, you can see the change in colour there, and that is because we've taken off a small layer of recycled leather down the middle of the book here. Well, here we are now in the finishing room, which is the big room upstairs in the factory. We're going to take our completed notebook cover and we're going to stick it to our pre-made whiskey tasting notebooks inner to complete the manufacturing process. And there we have it, one completed whiskey tasting notebook ready for dispatch.